5 reactions of innocent convicts set free. It all began in 2004 when the Honduran immigrant was charged with the murders of 2 women. This man, Clemente Gary, was on death row and had a death sentence. If I tell you this story, you'll probably think I'm making it up because it can't be true. On June 25, 2004, in Altamont, Florida, 24-year-old Clemente was indicted on charges of first-degree murder and burglary, a crime he did not commit. Agora Harkin claimed that he found the women dead, and that's how their blood got on his clothes and his footprints. It was a horrific crime that found his neighbors 47-year-old Cheryl Williams and 68-year-old Carol Barris stabbed to death. Despite Clemente's protests, the police determined that he was the only possible suspect and sentenced him to 14 years on death row. Clemente never stopped trying to clear his name, and he wasn't wrong either, as it turns out Samantha Shell's daughter prior to the murder was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder within inches of the mother's body, and in a bathroom where the state argued the killer cleaned up is the daughter's blood, a trail of the daughter's blood going to the bathroom, and then the mother's blood on the outside of the daughter's window. And there's in the doctor's notes a few years before this happened where she says to her mother, "I'm gonna kill you. If I ever get out of here, I'll kill all of you." Then we find out that she has confessed all over town. We have people coming in all over the place testifying affidavits, as she said, "I killed my mother and my grandmother, I'll do it to you." With such irrefutable evidence implicating Cheryl's daughter, the day finally arrived for Clemente. I do know that nobody believed me back. With no one, he holds back tears and immediately heads towards friends and family to celebrate. But today is a brighter day, a new day, and I got good hopes for the future. This is Devon Sanford, who in 2007 was sentenced to 37 to 90 years in prison, a horrific quadruple murder that he did not commit. He was only 14 years old at the time. Devonte was walking outside his home in his pajamas when he was arrested just 3 blocks away from a vicious crime scene involving 4 people and an AK-47 assault rifle. After being brought to the local police station, Devon discovered that the officers had used leading questions and given him case details to force him into making a fake confession. To make matters worse, his then attorney did not assist him by persuading him to make a guilty plea. To guarantee that the young man could be found guilty, his current attorney claimed that during their pursuit of him, they had fabricated evidence and committed perjury. However, 3 weeks later, there was another twist in the story. Hitman Vincent Smothers, the Northwestern Center of Wrongfully Convicted Youths, became aware of Smothers' arrest for 12 murders, 4 of which turned out to be the cases in which Sanford was convicted due to the justice court's inaction. They then pushed to reopen the case, which resulted in DeMont's release in 2016. It was a reunion that had been planned for 9 years. Interestingly, Devonte is grateful to one individual in particular for his freedom. Devant Sanford, a 25-year-old who was wrongfully incarcerated for a murder conviction here in Detroit before being cleared and released from prison, is facing new and serious problems. In 2018, he was arrested for assault, and this time, there was no hitman to take the heat. Smothers, "He protected me, not the cops who took advantage of him. It's because of this man that you know I'm able to walk and breathe and just be at peace." Gregory Counts, 19, and Van Dyke Perry, 21, were given life sentences for a crime they did not commit. The victim was beaten in front of her Queens home, thrown into a car, and driven to Central Park, where she was repeatedly raped. She claimed that Counts was one of the men responsible. The Innocence Project reopened the investigation into the Counsel Perry case in 2017 after Perry and the third man had already served 11 years. Using retested DNA, the investigation revealed that both counts were cleared, and Perry's relationship with the deceased man was revealed. This is strange. So why would the victim fabricate a story so horrible and send 2 innocent men to jail? The complainant now acknowledges that her boyfriend forced her into July and falsely claimed these men sexually assaulted her. Her boyfriend was attempting to avoid having to pay a debt to these 2 men. That's a lot of things we do for money. And let's take a look at both Counts and Perry's court appearance. Even though both men are now free and reintegrating into society, it is obvious that this terrible, unfair story will follow them both for the rest of their lives. The reason for this is that the tournament is a part of my life and my history. 1993 New Jersey 22-year-old Tito Mordinho was stabbed to death in his video store. This was another horrific stabbing death. Eric Kelly and Ralph Lee were both found guilty of a crime for which they had no connection. The story was pieced together by police using coercion and a shaky eyewitness, and that's how they got their conviction. It wasn't until the Innocence Project became involved in their case again that Eric and Ralph felt a glimmer of hope. And the state has since just dug in its heels, refusing to look into this other person, refused to speak with him, didn't look into his background, and are instead just, blindly cling to this conviction at all costs. Lee was freed from prison after 11 years, but Kelly wasn't allowed to return to his freedom until 2018 after serving 24 years in jail after fresh DNA evidence was shown to the judge in court. Remarkably, we discover that Judge Joseph Patelli is fully in Karen mode. We don't know about you, but we think celebrating freedom after 24 years of unjustified incarceration is a very good reason to celebrate. Kelly and Lee were not deterred by this. Instead, they were filled with gratitude for everyone who had contributed to their freedom, hunger, and high spirits. Be with my legal team, and I want to thank them and my family first and foremost. It's been a while, and I just don't know what to say right now. I'm just feeling good. That's soft. What would you want someone who doesn't know anything about your preferences to know? Knowing that you're an innocent man. Everything is okay for the time being in the matter of people versus Juan Ignacio Catalan. What is your real name? On May 13, 2003, 16-year-old Martha Pueblo, a witness in the case of a gang slang, was shot and killed in front of her home in Sun Valley, California. It wasn't until 3 months later that the FBI arrested 24-year-old Juan Catalan during a raid in front of his family's machine shop. This is Juan Catalan, the man saved by Sikkim. An alibi caught on camera, but not in the way you think. After hours of questioning, it appeared as though they had a ton of evidence against Juan. A witness who appears to be you, and who was meant to testify against your brother, is killed in cold blood. While it may not seem good, Juan continues to insist to the officers that he is innocent, saying things like, "You killed somebody, and I didn't kill anyone." Wait a minute, that's a very strong word. I didn't kill anybody. I would never kill anybody. I would never do anything to hurt anybody. He continues to do this until the situation becomes more complicated. Juan recalled that he and his daughter had attended a Dodgers game that day. However, in a stadium packed with tens of thousands of people. What are the chances that someone took a picture of him there? And even more so, what are the chances that you could obtain the video? This is where the case becomes complicated. It just so happened that Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld and star of the HBO series Curb Your Enthusiasm, was filming an episode in the same aisle as Catalan and his daughter. The episode was that I picked up a hooker in the carpool lane and took her to Dodger Stadium. What are the chances? Juan remembered he was on TV, but not the Dodgers cam. Then there was the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of an alibi caught on tape, and I pointed to that screen and said, that's him, roll that back." This footage, combined with a phone call made to his girlfriend at the exact time he was leaving the stadium, led to Juan's case being thrown out. His lawyer contacted HBO, got access to the footage of that episode, ran the tapes, and felt like he wasn't going to get what he needed. As for Juan, well, what can you say about being in the right place at the right time to start getting caught on camera? What are the chances that out of 56,588,000 seats, they're filming on my aisle? I look at it the same way I looked at winning the lottery. I got a new opportunity in life, and with my family, I was so happy and grateful for that. Both detectives were found guilty of coercion and falsifying their reports. Thank you for viewing, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more fascinating things. Please also provide feedback